we trust our foods to always be safe? Food safety recalls are far too common. Even farm-fresh foods can deliver deadly disease. So we need a fresh approach to save the 420,000 lives that are lost each year worldwide due to food contamination. Now, massive food recalls in the United States are far too frequent. These involved ground turkey, peanuts, cocoa mix, cantaloupes, eggs, and peanut butter. The 2009 outbreak was memorable because it was not only the biggest in U.S. history, 5 people died as a result, and federal prison sentences result from that. Now, these recalls also have something else in common. They have a common cause. Any guess? The common cause was a deadly bacteria known as Salmonella. And Salmonella bacteria is the top bacterial killer in food. 1 million people in the United States alone are made sick from Salmonella hiding in the food every year. And 19,000 were so severe they required hospitalization. And I'm sad to say 380 never made it back home. Now, Salmonella is also the deadly hitchhiker in farm-fresh eggs. And the FDA reports 79,000 cases from eggs alone, with another 30 deaths a year from contaminated eggs. So have you ever read the fine print inside of an egg carton? I'm going to read it, and maybe you could actually see enough to read along with me. To prevent illness from bacteria, keep eggs refrigerated, cook eggs until yolks are firm, and cook foods containing eggs thoroughly. So does refrigeration kill Salmonella? No, it doesn't. And unfortunately, most of the world, refrigeration is not the practice, or it's not even possible. Are soft-boiled egg yolks firm? Is egg over easy? Cook thoroughly. So this well-intentioned warning statement really does little to save the illnesses and lives lost each year in the United States and worldwide. So, no question that eating raw eggs is risky. Raw cookie dough, hollandaise sauce, tiramisu, Caesar salad dressing, and even eggs over easy are a few favorite raw egg recipes that could be deadly. Are these foods that we're willing to give up, or do we need a different approach? Now I'm going to answer the question that's on your mind right now. Which came first, the illness or the egg? About 1 in 10,000 eggs are infected with Salmonella. And this is not just surface contamination. Everyone knows a shell egg is dirty. You can't just wash it off. Every once in a while, the infected hen will make a mistake. She will put Salmonella inside the egg, in the white or the yellow, where it can't be seen, it can't be detected, but it can be quite deadly. Now, the average American consumes about 267 eggs every year. So if you just do the math, by the time you reach 75 years of age, you will have consumed 2 toxic eggs. And that's 2 too many. I average 2 eggs a day, and that means by the time I retire, I'm due 4 toxic eggs. And I personally want every egg I eat to be safe, but I can't trust that chicken to make a safe egg for me. So Rocky Balboa, what did he do? 4 a.m., he's consuming 5 raw eggs to prepare for the title fight of his life. And that legend lives on. Sylvester Stallone showed up on Letterman just a few years ago at the 38th anniversary of his picture, and they had a raw egg toast. Now, bodybuilders worldwide continue to obsessively consume raw eggs in the hope of building lean body tissue, and it works, it's good protein. But the world record was set by this fellow who appeared on America's Got Talent, who consumed 120 raw eggs in 90 seconds. And they followed him into the dressing room, he held it. Now, I'll just inform you, my picture is not on this slide, but I gave up bodybuilding a long time ago. But I built my expertise in food poisoning. And I had cramps, headache, tremors, a 2-bucket challenge, and I thought I was going to die in about 4 days of being bedridden. But by the end of the week, I was wishing that I was dead just to put an end to the misery. That's how severe salmonella intoxication can be. And it's with that severity that the NBC news program, Dateline NBC, did an expose where they discovered that eggs that were past the 30-day pull date that's printed on every carton were being sent back to the processor, which is responsible. But then the processor was able, through a crazy loophole in the law, to wash those eggs and put them back in cartons with new dates on them. So you could just imagine an egg cycling indefinitely between the grocery and the packaging plant. This crazy loophole in the law is no longer allowed, but Dateline NBC got consumers really mad, and it got the President of the United States to actually write an executive order. And it was President Bill Clinton who signed the United States Egg Safety Action Plan. And in his executive order, he said all eggs will be salmonella-free by the year 2010. So, who remembers 2010 and eggs? What happened? What happened to eggs in 2010? Well, if you recall a recall, your recall is actually quite accurate. We had a record-setting recall. 500 million eggs were pulled off the grocery shelves because, guess what? Potential contamination with salmonella. Now, that was a call to action. We could use traditional technologies to clean up salmonella. If you hard-boil an egg, you're killing the salmonella because it is heat sensitive. So if you heat eggs just to the point before it starts to solidify, you can kill the salmonella, but unfortunately, you made the egg white cloudy, or worse yet, you've soft-boiled the egg. You could also use a technology called food irradiation, where you use gamma ray, X-ray, and that is also very effective, but it has the opposite effect of heat. It makes the egg white more fluid, and as you know, irradiation still has a consumer acceptance issue. So we need to understand the FDA has a food code, and they prohibit raw eggs from hospitals, nursing homes, and in K-12 food programs because people who are very old, very young, or immune compromised cannot take the risk of getting salmonellosis or food poisoning. Now, in these cases, they have to use pasteurized powder or pasteurized liquid eggs, but these pasteurized eggs come with a significant taste penalty. And in my field of study, which is food science, if you got a taste penalty, it's game over. Nobody will eat it. So maybe we need a fresh approach. And that fresh approach is to use ozone. Ozone is 3 atoms of oxygen linked together. The air we're breathing right now is 2 atoms of oxygen. Ozone forms a layer over the stratosphere that protects us from the harmful radiation from the sun. Sometimes after a lightning strike, you smell a sweet smell. That's actually ozone that was made by the electricity. And some people are now using ozonators in their hot tubs to replace the questionable chlorine. So if there's salmonella hiding inside of an egg, ozone can get to it. And a very inventive colleague of mine, Dr. Ahmad Yosef, discovered that if he pushed ozone into that egg under pressure, he can kill any bacteria and also avian influenza. Any bacteria that's in that egg, and he patented the technology, and this is his patent, and him and I received federal-funded research that proved the ozone process produced safe eggs. They exceeded the thermal pasteurization by 90% in terms of efficiency, and there was no taste penalty. The eggs continued to have their fresh food functional properties. So this was a great discovery, but it was even better because what we did is we started building these prototype egg processing machines. This was the first one where we could actually sterilize or pasteurize 24 eggs in a batch. And that's Professor Yosef in the middle, the smiling man in the middle. And he's surrounded by other smiling gentlemen who happen to be egg farmers. And these egg farmers had an exclusive license to his patent, and they're happy because they can now produce healthy, not harmful eggs for their customers. we invited an executive chef panel. And these were chefs from large institutional feeding operations like the hospitals and from four-star restaurants. And they verified that these eggs worked in their favorite fresh food or fresh egg recipes. The eggs were not cloudy, and they behaved like fresh eggs, which was wonderful. Now, we have to trust fresh foods. And when we produce farm-fresh milk, we pasteurize it before we give it to our children. We trust that milk to always be safe. The same should be true for farm-fresh eggs. And it's with this argument that the state's Economic Development Agency gave my team $3 million to help bring the ozone-safe egg to the market. So we're building the nation's first commercial-scale egg ozone factory. This was actually built, and we have, coming out of the chamber, 6,300 eggs that were made safe with ozone. And the eggs, again, fresh, not cloudy, functional. 3 family farms got together and created this symbol. It's the yellow check symbol, which they intend to stamp on every egg when it gets to the commercial market. And much like USDA organic or gluten-free, kosher, heart-healthy, or double-A grade, this is the consumer's assurance that these eggs have been pasteurized for safety. These may be coming soon to a restaurant near you, so people can pick pasteurized for personal peace of mind. We lead, or first or second, in the nation for whole shell egg production. So what we do here could impact the world, and we hope it does. We need to create a future where we can trust farm-fresh foods that have no risk of illness and certainly no risk of death. I look forward to a time when we can look back and wonder how weird it was that we actually consumed fresh eggs fresh out of a dirty chicken. I really look forward to a time when all foods are both healthy and safe, so every person on the planet can live a full, productive life. Now, I went up to the factory yesterday and I picked up some eggs. And these eggs were, well, these are truly pure, ozone-safe eggs. And I'm not just making a wisecrack here. To say doctors of food science can cure sick foods. Thank you.